What up, house? Let me tell you something. What is up? Oh my gosh, what a weekend. It has been a busy one for sure. This Libra season has just been unrelenting. I don't think I've stopped. I've had like maybe one day where I had just like kind of a day of like sweet isolation and just like nothing to do and nowhere to be. And then it just got busy again. And so it's been good though. Today was great. Before work, I was hired by our head bartender at work to be an entertainer at her child's birthday party. And she asked me about it a couple weeks ago. She was like, hey, do you ever do readings for parties? And I'm like, yeah, occasionally people will hire me to do parties. And so I, didn't know whether it was going to be mostly like reading like kids cards, but it was mostly the adults that really took me up on it. And there was a couple of little girls that got their cards read, and they were so precious, and all the little children were so cute, their little costumes. But which reminds me is that when she asked me to do it, I was like, yes, count me in. Like there was zero hesitation. I'm like, it's not even funny. And I was like, also, I have a really like authentic witch like outfit. I mean, it's not even a costume. These are just like pieces of clothing that I have that end up making me look like a Victorian witch. So it's like, I could totally dress up. And she was like, I was actually going to see if you'd be willing to dress as a witch. And I'm like, more than willing. I insist. Absolutely. So it was so fun. It rained a little bit, but we all just made it work. Like I would people that were getting their cards read would just hold the little umbrella over us so that like my cards didn't get wet. And I mean, this is a rare deck. It's not always in print and people were obsessed. This is one of the ones I took with me. And they're like, oh my God, such a beautiful deck. And I'm like, I know. It's like you can't really buy it again, so I can't get it wet. It is precious. But yeah, everybody was super happy. It was super fun. And I would have stayed for the whole party if I didn't have to run and go to work. And so I was like hauling ass across town to get to work on time. And I had to like run in my witch costume and do a quick change. And I realized as I was in the bathroom, I was like, when I'm in a real hurry, I forgot how to like change clothes. Like I didn't know what to take off first or like what to put on or what to prioritize. Because I was like, I gotta get my section ready. They're gonna open the doors and they're gonna like quadruple seat me. And I'm like gonna still be in the bathroom changing. But everything worked out and we had kind of a busy night at the restaurant, which was good. And yeah, and that brings us to here now. I am tired. I've been like in the wet and then I've been like out of the wet and I've been hot and cold and hot and cold. And I am ready for a hot shower and a bowl of chili. But first, we are going to do our weekly energy forecast with our Oracle of Oddities, editions 1, 2, and 3. It's actually by Claire Goodchild. Her brand is called Black in the Moon. She's on Instagram, and if you follow her, she does announce when she'll print her decks, but it's not often. And so I'm not even sure if she's doing any runs of these anymore, but Oracle of Oddities is what this is. But I love this artwork. It's so beautiful. That's why I always make sure that we have our weekly reading with it together, which we didn't get to have last week because of our full moon workshop. So we back. All right, what do we need to know for the week ahead so that we can make the most of our potential and our opportunities and overcome our shortcomings? Okay, first we have Anya, I don't know how to pronounce Ajna. Anya, is it an H or a yes sound? I don't know. But this is speaking to the third eye chakra. So pay attention to your imagination. What are you visualizing in your mind? You really want to feed the images that you want to see come into fruition because these are seed level thought forms that actually gain momentum and they start to crystallize into manifestations. So if you're closing your eyes and you see apocalyptic nightmare slideshow, you may want to start making more of a practice of staying present and aware with what is going on in your mind at any given time. What are your inner eyes watching? Because there are parts of your mind, like your subconscious doesn't know the difference between what it's actually experiencing and what you're thinking about in your mind. So if you're catastrophizing, or if you're replaying an upsetting situation or memories of one over and over in your mind without doing it in the way that we do it when we're doing like reprogramming work, where you're going back and sifting through those memories in the subconscious in a controlled way, where you are in a productive sense feeling the feelings so that you can observe them and then actively try to, it's just a long story to get into that whole process, but when you're doing it in a contained way, it's one thing. But when your mind runs wild and your thought process isn't telling yourself like, okay, we're using these memories now to work through something, it's a completely different story. So watch what's going through your mind. Pay attention to your nightly dreams. Your third eye is also responsible for nightly dreams and visions and prophecies that you might be having in your sleep. So you might be getting messages through your dream state. So maybe if you wake up and you remember that you dreamed something, try to write any detail that you can about that down. And so then you can follow up and look it up. There's a website called dreammoods.com, and it's the quality of a website that was built by someone's aunt in like 1990, 97. But like, it's really good. Their interpretations of the symbols are so good, but sometimes all I can remember is like a shred of like a detail about a location or, you know, like a color or an object or whatever. But usually that's enough to piece together and look those specific things up, and it starts to give you like a story starts coming out, and you're like, oh my gosh, that actually, like, I got more insight even into the little slivers of things I can remember than I thought I would. Okay, so third eye. I'll probably come into play as we're pulling the rest of our cards. All right, what else do we need to know about? And you know, that came out, we were asking about how we can, you know, expand into our potential. So it's like, envision what you want to see happen in your life and hold those visions in your mind. You know, just like you don't want to catastrophize, you actually want to feed the images of how you want things to work out, and imagine yourself already being in the dream life that you want for yourself. Imagine yourself having healthy conversations, or imagine yourself, you know, addressing a situation that needs to get addressed. Imagine yourself getting the job that you're looking for, or, you know, having that, you know, faceless romantic partner that you don't know who it is yet, but you know what kind of a relationship that you want for yourself. It's like, imagine that scenario playing out with this like blurred out person kind of thing. But yeah, use your mind. Don't let it use you. Divinity. So in that regard, taking control of our consciousness and our conscious thoughts is like literally giving us affinity with the light of the Creator. We're becoming more like the light. We're becoming more, we're embracing the fact that we are equally human as we are divine. And the more we embrace and heal and realize the wholeness of our humanity, the more divine we are. And it's all about slowing down so that you can actually be conscious enough to observe your thoughts, feelings, desires, and patterns to a degree that you can actually say, okay, I see all this. Now I'm going to pause, I'm going to take a breath, and I'm going to choose with my free will and with all my resources and faculties and with everything I know now, I can choose, okay, how do I want to show up in this moment? How do I want to react to the situation? But when you're reacting like out of reflex or default response, you're not being your divine self. You're being your lower base human self almost closer to the animal kingdom, because at that point you're just reacting in survival mode on instinct, but not with real intuition and not with wisdom and discernment. So take your time when you are reacting to situations. You want to proactively meet them rather than reflexively respond, and pay attention to what's going on in your mind. You want to foster the thoughts that you want to create, because we are divine. We really are. We're the children of divine, and we have that same essence within us. And really, we're here to learn how to be empty channels so that we can be a beacon of that light in the world for others, really. Because it's like we're just really an empty flesh suit husk. The only thing that gives us life is that creative, that whole eternal, all-encompassing life force and consciousness, right? We can't really do anything without the light. Even, if the light is taken out of us, then the flesh bag falls to the floor, right? The essence that gives us life within us is our soul and our spirit. And our spirit is a sliver of that pure divine essence. The soul is sort of like the casing around the chocolate, around the caramel of the spirit. And the soul is mixed in with our mind and our personality. So the soul actually has our strengths as well as our weaknesses, right? So the more that we can break open I read this thing the other day. It was perfectly described it. It was like when your heart breaks open, it allows the soul to enter. And when your soul breaks open, it allows the spirit to enter. Isn't that cool? So yeah, it's like a broken heart, disappointment, pain, it's never wasted, or it doesn't have to be. It can really turn you into something very strong, a force to be reckoned with, and a force of kindness and compassion and good, right? But one that's so strong that it can't be stopped. Love, 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 love. Having affinity of the light with the light means that we are understanding that love is what we are. And the only thing that prevents us from being what we are or remembering what we are just the shells of negativity that have built up. And all it takes is our awareness and our participation to break those down. And every time we embody change, every time we embody positive, new way to perceive things, a positive new way to meet things, every time, and that's not even to say, it's not even necessarily, like, I think that we're too reductive in our understanding of when we say positive, because it doesn't mean that you have to sugarcoat everything or live in a fantasy world. Like, sometimes taking a positive action is doing something that might make some people uncomfortable. Sometimes you have to directly confront people, and they don't want that, and they might even say that you're mean or that you're too harsh or whatever, or like your standard is too high. But maybe you're doing it for their own good, right? It's like if you have ever been an employer or a leader of a team or a supervisor, people are going to try to make you feel like shit every time you ask them to do their job. But being a positive leader is being able to proactively manage people and get them to do things without, like, cowering in fear and guilt and shame, right? And so sometimes we get overly simplistic ideas of what's loving and what's positive, because sometimes love is being really honest with someone, and not necessarily, it's not maybe necessarily what they want to hear, but maybe it's what they need to hear. And maybe it's in their own best interests, and maybe it's actually something that's going to build them. But you got to be honest with yourself. Are you coming at it with an agenda? Is this something selfish? Are you coming from destroyer consciousness or builder consciousness? Meaning, is this going to help build them into a better fill in the blank? Or is this going to be a destroyer moment where you're breaking them down and ruining something or taking away from something? So that's always something that we have to evaluate in ourselves as well. All right, and last card for la week. Let's see what's good. See what's good in the hood. What else do we need to know? Oh my God. Love, love, love. There's not a lot of duplicates in this deck, but we got one recently. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't love, but love is also, I think it was voice. But yeah, so we got love twice, you guys. The focus is love. Fill your mind with thoughts of love. Fill your heart with love. Surround your life in things that you love and you love doing. And if you don't love something, then there's a difference between things that we have to endure and just tough it out. Like, we don't want to get too entitled or like get this idea in life that like everything's just going to be perfect and sunshine and rainbows all the time. But we do have choices that we make where we curate and create our world. And so things that you can control, make decisions based in love, not fear, not lack, not doubt, right? Make decisions based on something that will perpetuate good into the world and into your life, and it will create more and more and more love in the things that you love. For instance, if you don't like your job and it's filling you with like disdain and bitterness and frustration and it's making you pissed off all the time, you don't love it anymore. Your heart's not in it, right? And you're not making more loving vibrations around you in that environment. You're actually making toxic vibrations within you and around you that are going to start making catastrophic visions in your mind that are going to start attracting catastrophic situations and chaos. So we want to build a life on love. And I'm not saying this like these aren't empty words. I left the industry that I dreamed of working in all my life. And I worked in that industry for 12 years. And I mean, I'm like on sabbatical, but I have not missed it at all. And I'm not tempted to go back. I actually got an offer recently to be a director's assistant on an Amazon movie. And I just, like, I thought about that and I was like, this is going to be the next 6 months of my life. I'm like, yeah, I could meet some good people, can open some doors, but it's like, I've been working in an industry for 12, 13 years. What am I going to do? It's like, this one's going to be the life-changing one? No, this is the voice of illusion. It's like, do I want to jump back in and work even harder in something that I was completely burnt out on and made me miserable? Took all the quality of life and balance away from me? No. I didn't even hesitate. I said, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm on creative sabbatical right now. And really when I was like, okay, yeah, I'm enjoying the job that I have and I'm enjoying building this channel and actually doing what I love. And when I have, booking clients for readings and I, do these things like the parties, I'm so fulfilled because these people are really getting things out of these readings. They're having hope and they're getting a vision for their lives and they're getting in touch with their soul in a way that they haven't in a long time, or in a way that they maybe haven't ever. Okay. And so, it's important that you actually give yourself permission to make changes in your life to make sure that it's a life that you love to live every day. And it's, when you love the life that you're showing up to, then you're going to be contagious and you're going to spread love all around you. And if you notice that things are corrupting that environment and making it toxic, then the divine action is to be able to address the situation, change what you can have control over, and have the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, right? And if you don't like the environment that you're in, then go into another environment, If you don't love what you're doing or what you're surrounded by, then check in with yourself. Figure out like where your heart and soul, what they're asking for, what they need, and where they're leading you to, and what direction they're pointing you in, and then take action on it. Because we have this moment right now where, like, in a global sense, not one person at this party today did not have big endings and beginnings in their reading. And same for any of my other clients that I've been talking to recently. And the same for our readings, on and on and on and over and over again. We're being told, hey, yo, you're being set up to completely have this fresh start, to really like get this baggage out of your system, to make big changes, to like see these patterns and finally like get a highlighter, right? On like what is like little off here, little block there, little things that we can tweak. They're really coming into like focus now. The universe is supporting us in our efforts to make these changes. And so it's like taking advantage of, like a once in a lifetime opportunity. You know, it's not often that all of the energy on every level, everywhere, is supporting like the kind of next chapter that we're talking about. And you can really be like this new person. I feel like my hair just got weird. I'm trying to like get it to a decent whatever. But yeah, we can be a whole new person, creating a whole new life for ourselves. But it will require that we make changes and that we are consciously curating the life that we want to experience, and that we're willing to make changes where we need to. Okay, guys? Well, I hope that sets you up for a week of excitement and success. I feel like I want to just pull one more card since we offload the sorrow. I don't usually read these in reverse, but the sorrow upside down tells me that there's still some sadness that's lingering in our life, or something that's bringing us sorrow. And I think that it's time to let it go. Let it move out of our life. Whatever is bringing us grief, edit that situation and set yourself up so that you're full of love. Love your life. You love everything that's happening in it. I mean, you know, to a degree, for the most part, right? And that you're not constantly dealing with things that are bringing you so much grief. If there is a very obvious source of like misery, sadness, chaos, and sorrow in your life, it is time to nip it in the bud. It is time to change the conditions around that situation, or change the context around it, or whatever you need to do. But this is your shot. And the more that you carry all of this stuff from the past with you into the next cycle, the more uncomfortable it's going to be, because there is going to be a polarized group of people who are moving on, and they are getting it, and they're moving up and like moving on and up. And then there's going to be a bunch of people that are clinging to the past, the old stories, how it, you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda, and it's like this group of people over here are going to be like, y'all are like playing in your own shit over there, honestly. Like, you've had every opportunity to heal. Like, the universe is supporting you, your ancestors are supporting you, your angels are supporting you. We've all been begging you, all the cards. I've been here every day telling you, and it's like, if you're determined to hang on, like, this group of people is going to be like, all right, like, we're just going to be over here enjoying ourselves. Just like, we're just gonna make sure this is all closed off, and you guys stay over there, and when you're ready to come join the party, then we'll talk then. we'll touch base and see how you're doing. But yeah, offload the sorrow. Don't keep bringing it with you, because the lessons are gonna start getting more and more uncomfortable, and you're gonna get just sick of your own bullshit at some point. So you might as well get sick of it now and make the change now, because then you can really jump on this opportunity and the momentum for all of these blessings coming in, for all of the opportunities, for all of this like new way of life that you could be experiencing. It's a whole new experience, right? All right, you guys, I am going to eat chili. I'm going to take a shower. I have little cornbread muffins from work. I can't wait. I made a joke tonight that I felt like I could eat 27 cornbreads. And then there was almost a whole sheet left over at the end of the night from like not selling out of all of our orders. So can't wait. I'm gonna have them with my chili. All 27. There's not 27. There's just a few. Okay, you guys, that's it for tonight. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Ciao.